All right, we live. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Akakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. And Shalom to the Akim and the Akwaf scattered around the four quarters of the globe that have returned to Yahweh Yahweh Shai through the obedience of the scriptures. All right, and our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. All right. And we'll entitle this major prophecy taking place. All right, major prophecy taking place. All right, and really, this can't be, understated. We go into prophecy all the time because prophecy, at the end of the day, is really the only thing that matters, right? The will of Yahweh Shem Shai being forwarded here on the planet Earth. All right, and basically, we want to touch on basically a few different points, but all the points revolve around the conflict that has recently emerged. Not recently emerged, right? Because we know it goes back years. All right, since the J double O's, right? Since they were inserted into that land during the Balfour Declaration. There has been conflict, okay, but that tension, that conflict, if you will, has been lit. It has been sparked, if you will, in the last few days. All right, and basically we see what Esau is doing. Esau is getting ready to take things to the next level. All right, as far as this digital economy is concerned, as far as the censoring on these various platforms are concerned. Okay, YouTube, the internet, the whole thing. Everything is about to go into that next phase, so we're going to touch on that a little bit. Y'all have any points?
Now, I'm just going to start off with a precept.
Khan.
This is 2nd Ezra 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written on paper, for they are faithful and they are true. Right. So it's like the Khan said, we are speaking the words of Yahweh Yahweh Shah. All right, the prophetic words, all right, of the end times which we're living in right now, and the things that are getting ready to happen and befall here on the earth, man. So all of the chess pieces are not all set up. Yahweh Yahweh Shah has been moving the chess pieces, all right, into play, all right, and now we have a lot of action over in the Middle East, okay, and then we know just through prophecy that that's where World War III is going to take place, all right. So now that these prophecies are really starting to speak louder and clearer, like the brothers and I, we were just talking before we even turned the live on, with all these prophecies pretty much being lined up. The MOTB is talked about. It's being, mentioned in the news, and, certain articles talking about the CBDC being exactly that. Right. Of course, we can go all the way back to, Putin going over there to Ukraine. I will put hooks in thy jaws, Ezekiel 38. And all the skirmishes and everything that are happening at war that's been going on over there. Well, it's not really a war, but and now we have the dragons of Arabia, right, which are pretty much the Arab nations, are all conspiring together right now, right, to do something about what's going on in Israel.
Yep.
All right, the war that's going on over there right now. Okay, so all these things are headed towards one particular goal, and that's World War III. And so the prophecies are being spoken. The Lord has given his spirit unto his men to inform you, being the real news anchors of the world, the things that are going on and what's getting ready to befall. So without any further ado, brothers, we can just go ahead and get into it.
Khan, that's it. Baba Kishah, could you hold that Dragons of Arabia scripture in 2nd Ezra? Was that 2nd Ezra 16 or 15?
It's 15.
Yeah, Baba Kishah, could we hold that on deck? And then Malak, could you grab the article where it talks about the Hamas leader calling, all right, for a global day of jihad?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And we'll touch on this because when you go into, the so-called Arab world, if you just look it up, all right, there's they really don't know how many Arabs there are in the entire world, but there's over 500 million for sure.
Right.
Right. And primarily, we know that they're concentrated where? They're concentrated in the Middle East, and then also through the Northern Africa, okay, Eastern and Western Europe, right? That's where the mass bulk of Arabs are, but they're even spread out all throughout the four corners of the planet Earth, right? To a certain extent, especially here in the States.
That's right.
You know, that was also something we were talking about, all right, with the immigrant crisis. All right, here in America, we basically we don't know who the hell is in America.
True.
We know, you got it. Were you gonna say something?
No, I'm just saying true, Khan.
You know, the apostles, the elders on down, they've been touching on these things, right? We know that there's troops in there, there's a private militia in there. We have an amalgamation of basically sleeper cells of the NWO, of the powers to be, okay, here in Babylon the Great today. You know, and that's the point, man. The scriptures, when we read the scriptures, okay, matter of fact, I'm gonna pull this real quick. This is Romans chapter 13 and verse 11. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Romans 13 and 11. It says, and knowing, or Slakia, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed.
That's right.
Right? And that reigns true right now more than ever, right? We just had Apostle Tahar come out with a video recently talking about how, Yahweh Shem Shai is really getting ready to wrap this thing up here soon.
Yep.
Right. We're pretty much at the point to where, like y'all, like you were saying before the live, the board is set, man. The board is set, the pieces are in place. Okay. Like the brother said, the dragons of Arabia are being gathered. They're backed by Russia. All right, and we're on the doorstep of World War III. So the time of being a slow, combative nigga, right, or any of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, that shit is dead. That shit been dead, but now is definitely not the time for a bunch of fucking folly and foolishness.
Khan, if I may add, this, if anything, like, and it's just a spirit because I went in on this lesson earlier. Brothers should be fired up right now, man.
Yep.
Okay. This right now should be building your faith, all right, and pushing it to the utmost, man. You're actually seeing the things now, man. All right. Well, just within this past year and a half, we saw a plethora of major prophecies come to pass. So you should be fired up right now, man. Your faith should be on fire, man, for this thing, because these things that are happening are living proof, okay, that this book is alive, man, and the Lord's word does not go out in vain, man. As the priest said, man, our salvation is nearer than what we believe. You have to really, really think. We're really getting ready to see Yahweh Shah, man. I mean, truly. You should be on fire right now, man. And if you're not, you're just not a man of the Lord. And that's just what it is. I didn't mean to interrupt you, brother, but you got it, because I was mentioning this earlier in my lesson talking about this, man. Brother,
right.
Yeah, this is just about, how this should build your faith right now. You should be on 10 right now. If you a sluggard right now, then, hey, man, the Lord's not dealing with you.
Yep.
But you got a priest.
Yep, and that sluggard spirit shows a lack of faith, and that's going to catch up to you. That's going to catch up to you when we enter into Jacob's trouble. The faith that we have in Yahweh Shai, right? The excitement that we get from watching prophecy take place, that's going to be a part of us enduring to the end.
Man.
The scriptures, what does scripture say? The scriptures say the spirit quickeneth.
That's right.
Right? When you go into that word quicken, it goes into to make something alive. Right? Yeah. So as we continue on through the straight gate, right, as these people begin to wax worse and worse and decay and die, all right, it's going to be the fulfillment of these prophecies that keep us going, man.
That's right, brother.
So Malak, Baba Gashal, we can jump into that article real quick.
Khan, this is the article. It's titled Hamas leader calls for the world's Muslims, quote, to shed blood and become martyrs for the cause.
That's it.
Right.
You got it.
Says Khalid Mash'al, a leader and founding member of Hamas, issued a call for Muslims around the globe to rise up in solidarity with Hamas on Friday in support of their brutal attack against Israel, calling it the Al-Qasr.
Mm.
Marshall urges civil disobedience and confrontation directed towards Israeli soldiers among those living in the West Bank area and in Israel itself. Mash'al was the official leader of Hamas Politburo until 2017, when he transferred power from his HQ in Qatar to local leaders in Gaza. He still represents the organization in Qatar and wields great influence as a founder of the group.
And that's pretty much the point. All right. The point is what we see global leaders, right? Islamic leaders all over the world. We seeing them put out, or this guy specifically, basically putting out a call to action. Basically stirring up the pot, if you will, not only over there in the Middle East, but best believe this is going to have a major impact over here in America as well, which is why we have another article, right? Did you find the one where it talked about cities basically preparing, cities all around the U.S. preparing? I could find it real quick if you don't have it.
No, I got it.
Okay, yeah, let's grab that real quick because basically what we have the stage set for a major event, right? We have a false flag, about to take place, But I don't even want to. I shouldn't even say false flag necessarily because these these Muslims, right? These Muslims are really pissed the fuck off. Excuse my language, right? So whether it's organic or whether it's a false flag, either way, it's Yahweh Bashim Yahushua.
That's right.
Right, and we know that whatever ends up happening is going to be used to forward, Esau's agenda. All right, and then somewhere down the line, we know it's going to be connected to what they deem Hebrew Israelism, right?
Mm-hmm.
The movement of the Black Hebrew Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're waiting on. We know this. We know that this is the next trick, the next move. Yep. You got him a lot.
It's an article by Newsbreak. It's titled "The U.S. City Bolster Security as Israel-Hamas War Continues." It says, while there is no reported credible threat, CBS News has reviewed multiple internal law enforcement bulletins and security assessments circulated in the last 48 hours that warn that homegrown and domestic violent extremists are likely to mobilize in response to the Israel-Hamas conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Noting Hamas' latest call to action, which mentioned the Friday of Al-Aqsa flood, the NYPD intelligence analyst warned the group has called for a day of rage. sounds like synonymous with a day of wrath. Don't it?
Mm-hmm.
Wonder why they. Is there something in there? Want to kind of align it with somebody?
Right.
It says, on numerous occasions in the past, which have catalyzed large demonstrations and unrest in the West Bank, Gaza, and Jerusalem. Nevertheless, these latest statements have the potential to resonate a spark reactionary unrest and exploitative violence beyond the region, warranting elevated vigilance on the part of law enforcement personnel.
Yep. And I got a preset real quick. I'm gonna read this. This is Ecclesiastes 1:9. It says, "The thing that have been, it is, which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Right. And I wanted to grab that because this thing that we're seeing is classic problem reaction solution.
Yep.
Right. Esau's Hegelian dialectic. And that's something that you hear brothers all throughout GMS go into, because that's a part of Esau's playbook.
Yep.
All right. Problem, reaction, solution. Okay.
Yep.
And then and also reminds me of this whole dynamic also reminds me of 9/11, right? How they use, the idea of extremist, all right, terrorist, all right, in a particular event, taking place. They'll use that to do what? To forward a whole new level of legislation, all right, laws and decrees.
Yep.
And that's what we're getting ready to see. You had a point.
Well, no, it's just heavy because you said that, because actually one of the internet news stations I was watching on the platform, and they were going into this, and they were literally talking about that. This whole thing was like, what Israel's experiencing right now is that's their 9/11. Of course, we're looking at with spiritual eyes because we know what the whole play on was, for that whole 9/11, right? And there and it was also likened to the bombing of Pearl Harbor, if you will. So these are talking points and stuff that Esau uses, okay, to spark reaction, okay. Yep. So he can come in with that solution, man. All right, that Ord Adakeo. His playbook is the same. That's a beautiful precept that you brought up, because there is literally no new thing under the sun. And this is another way of recognizing who the wicked is and their characteristics here on the earth, how they move and how they operate. If you pay attention through the spirit, you're going to be able to see. That's why Scripture also said, roughly paraphrasing, let me just grab the scripture. It just flew from my head. If it was possible, they would deceive the elect.
Mm-hmm.
Paraphrasing, so we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We're not ignorant of how he moves, okay, and how he works. And so this is just another play, pretty much what it is, and it's going to cause some things to happen. All right, which inevitably, which we know that the true hand behind this all is Yahweh Shah, because we're moving us closer and closer to World War III. And that's one thing that everyone has to keep in the forefront of their mind. That's how this whole thing is going to end up.
Yeah, that's it. Khan, Malak, could you pull up on the screen? Could we grab Joel 3 and 9 real quick? Yeah, let's grab Joel 3 and 9. Because you have made it some good points right there, Yaz. You had mentioned 9/11 and then Pearl Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and both of those events started wars.
Yep.
Both of those events were used as an excuse to basically start major wars.
That's right.
So that's again, right. We'll read that real quick in Joel 3 and 9.
If I could say too, this event that possibly could happen is, and typically when those events take place too, right before an election year.
Yeah.
Nobody want to come into the presidential election getting into a war.
Yeah.
Being in that situation. You finish what you started, nigga. Or whether it become, a martial law kind of thing, where it's just we run with what we got. So just something to consider, the seriousness of the matter, people, because you got these some 10-headed hat nigga wearing nigga, in the back, like, oh, this is just some false flag event that's not gonna lead to, okay, well, watch. Hey Lord about to turn up, man.
Yep.
But this Joel 3 and 9, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, and let all the men of war draw near, let them come up.
Right. And like we're going into, okay, these major events, these 9/11, Pearl Harbor, right? This thing that happened a couple of days ago, these are all war triggering events.
Yep.
You know, because when you're a king, when you're a ruler, okay, starting a war is an extreme. You don't just start a war and it's like, you know, a light thing. You can just, you know, just start a war. No, starting a war takes a basically a large preparation.
Yep.
Needs to be had, right? Resources need to be gathered. Various, you know, resources and metals and things of that nature need to go into production.
Mm-hmm.
Right. This is a major thing, you know, war preparation. You know, there's a saying, you know, in the stock market, you know, that you know, war is bullish. You know, war is bullish for the economy.
Oh yeah,
You know,
100%. And whoever's, you know, funding both sides, you know, it can be very lucrative.
yep,
Very, very lucrative, you know, and we already know who's in the play with that. So,
Mhm.
yeah, just to land back on what you're saying, you know, I think, like I said before, I've always said, you know, Meyer M. Shel Bayer, Rothschild always said the time to make money is when blood is running in the streets. All right, so we know this is Esau's MO. You know, there's a lot of money that's being made right now. Okay, just make no mistake about it. There's a lot of money that's being circulated right now.
Yep,
That's happening.
yep. You got him a lot.
You mute, brother.
Con verse 10. It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong.
Mhm. And again, you know, let the weak say I am strong. Right, going into these other nations. All right, outside of you know, Babylon the Great and NATO.
Mm-hmm.
Right, these other nations that up to this point have been pretty much irrelevant. All right, in the grand scheme of things, militarily. All right, but according to prophecy, we know that, you know, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua was going to raise up the Russians,
Yep.
right? Gog and Magog, pursuing to what, Ezekiel 38.
That's right.
All right, and other scriptures. So he's risen up the Russians. All right, and now he's gathering, you know, the dragons of Arabia. You know, Baba Kashah. I'm gonna read this scripture real quick, and then Baba Kashab, Yaz, do you where did it mention the Dragons of Arabia in 2nd of 16?
Yeah, it's on. It's actually sorry, I got it right. It's second edge is 15, and I'll start at 28.
Okay, kind the water. You got it.
Okay. Before I did want to go into that. Just want to, because you have to understand, like we said, prophecy has been taking place now. We know that, you know, and this is, you know, there's been a couple of platforms that have done little videos on it talking about the river Euphrates drying up. All right, and that was all for a specific reason. When you go into Revelation 12 of Salakia 16 and 12, it actually speaks about that. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it. It says Revelation 16 and 12, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up. And there's a reason why the Lord had that. And it goes on to say that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Okay, so when you go into that word, that you prepare, being prepared for what? Prepared for battle. As you can see here, I'm a God one. Okay, so that prophecy is already passed. You can go and you can Google it, and you can see the Euphrates River is dried up. So that way they can move all of their military vehicles, their Humvees, and all that stuff across the land to position themselves for this great battle that the Lord is gathering all the nations up for. All right, to plead for who? For you, Jake, for the children of Israel. Because that's really what chiefly all this is going down for. You know, so I just wanted to add that. So going in here to we go down over here to second Edges 15 and 28. It's now that we see that the river Euphrates is dried up and everything is now into play. Now, when you go through history and you look at, this is something that Ezra was writing. All right, he was given a vision over this over 2,000 years ago of the things that we're getting ready to come into now. Okay, so this is second Edges 15 and 28. Behold, a horrible vision, an appearance thereof from the east. And we just talked about that in Revelations 16 and 12. Talking about what? You know, that he may make way for the kings of the east. Okay, so this vision that Ezra is seeing, he's seeing the dragons of Arabia lining up and going in the battle. So it goes on to say, wherein the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear may fear and tremble. Right. Okay, because we know the dragons of Arabia, the so-called Arab nations. All right, so you got to understand that these people are well funded. All right, they're radical regimes. All right, basically that are within the Middle Eastern oil OPEC nations. Okay, so what they're doing is they're banding together. All right, to bring that terrorism. All right, like I said, it consists of some of the nations consist of Iraq, Kuwait, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Jordan. Okay, so there's plethora of articles where now the dragons of Arabia, they're starting to conspire and come together. All right, because they see what's happening. All right, and what's going on. Goes on to say, was you gonna say something, brother? I'm sorry.
Nah, you got it, bro.
Okay. Goes on to say, second Esdras 15 and 30. Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the woods. And with great power they shall come and join battle with them. With who? With their brothers. And we know the Carmanians today are the Iranians. Okay. So we know that Ishmael, and the Carmanians, they were known as wild men. Okay. So it's letting it be known right now what's getting ready to take place. They're all getting ready to join up in battle, okay, in this World War III. Okay, and it goes on to say, and they shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. Okay, so we know that today that's more of like northern Iraq. Okay, but all this stuff right now, the Lord is mustering the battle, so he's putting everything into play. Now we know the Iranians, they funded terrorism groups such as ISIS, even the Hamas, Hezbollah, etc. All right, all within that area of Palestine and Israel. All right, so you know that this is a coup that's being set up, okay, to bring forth that WW3, the World War III. All right, so all of the pieces now are all in play, and they're all getting ready to come to a head, man. Like the priest said early in the conversation, the Lord's getting ready to shut this thing down.
Yep, that's it, man. I want to get this too real quick. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 9. Right? Because another thing that is contrary to popular belief, obviously not, the believers, not not us, those inside this circle.
That's right.
Right. But your average, American, your average, six-pack loving Edomite, something that they're finally coming to the realization of is that America is basically the most vulnerable nation as far as border security is concerned. America has pretty much had a damn open border for the last, 20, 30, 40 years. I mean, you have people literally just coming up in here willy-nilly, and that's just the border, right? There was that whole on the internet, there was that whole basically a talking piece about how, remember when the supply chain was broken and all those shipping containers were stranded on the shoreline. There were a lot of people saying that they believed that there was people inside of those, that there was troops inside of those. You had, going back a couple years, I remember you had video of Chinese military training with the Canadian government, things of that nature. None of this stuff is, we, through the spirit, we remember all that stuff, man.
Wow. Yeah.
So the point is, the scriptures talk about Babylon being penetrated, right? And a matter of fact, before we get that Jeremiah 59, could we grab Isaiah? Could you pull up Isaiah 13 real quick?
I got Isaiah. Okay, that's fine. I got Isaiah 14. I thought that was going to, but okay.
No, Con, what verse did you have in a 14?
Isaiah 14 and 10. As I'll become as weak as us.
Okay. Yeah,
I hope that bring something.
Okay.
You want me to bring it out?
You can start at verse. You jump down a little bit. Where it talks about being slain in the streets. I believe that's Isaiah 13. Or the women being ravished.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
That's the last year, verse 17 on down. Yo.
yeah.
yeah.
Yep. This Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17, it says, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which
Mhm.
shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it."
Yep.
Mhm. Talking about the Russians, right?
Mhm.
Gog and Magog. You got it.
Yep. Verse 18, it says, "Their bows shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eye shall not spare children."
Hmm. Going into the destruction of America, right? The destruction of America is ultimately going to be fulfilled through thermonuclear destruction, right? Through a great assembly of nations headed by Russia, basically raining down ICBMs upon this place. Okay, but the scriptures do also talk about Babylon being physically penetrated by foreign troops.
Yep.
That's a scene in the movie as well, right? And that's why we've been warning, we've been warning you, you arrogant, prideful, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We've been warning you people, telling you, all right, that these things are coming a lot sooner than you think, and it's going to be a beautiful thing in that day. We're not going to lift up, we're not going to pray, we're not going to cry for you niggas.
Nope.
All right, you niggas are going to die, man.
Yep.
Right, because we've been out here preaching this word, right? The Lord has been extending his hand, all right, out unto you, and you people have done nothing but disregard it and disrespect it. So guess what? We'll keep reading, Baba Gasha. Or actually, could you read verse 18 again?
Yep. It's Isaiah 13 and 18. It says, "Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children."
Right. So your children, right? Your young, your adolescents,
Yep.
right? That makes me think of Ezekiel 9, right? Slay utterly old and young, right? Women and children, roughly paraphrasing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. How about Shimi Al Shai is not getting ready to pull any punches for you niggas, man. You gonna get it,
Happy shall thou be.
Kind.
You know.
Could you read verse 19 and then we'll jump? We'll jump to the next article.
Yep. Verse 19, it says, "In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah."
Yep. And that's the point, But matter of fact, the point was actually in 16, but that's okay. That's okay. The point was made on that. Baba
Well,
Kashab.
that's how it's going to end.
Yep.
That's how it's going to end with, because, like, of course, we know that those gutter rats are in our land,
Mm-hmm.
and in the Hamas situation, it's going to bring the destruction of those people that's falsely living in our land. You see, because of the folly that they're into, the sodomy, the abomination, right? And it's just, man, because as much as they control it, they don't want to admit that the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. And as much as they want to downplay that they don't control this whole thing that's going on, which they do, right? Hey, the Lord knows, man. And the Lord knows how he wrote it from the beginning, how it's going to end. So Esau, you can't hold on to this blessing no longer, man.
I got a precept.
You got it right.
Yeah, this is Isaiah 14. We'll start at 9 here. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirred up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It has raised up their thrones, all the kings of the nations, right? Because that's what's coming for you, Esau, Edom, right? Hell and death, man, is coming, right? Because now the nations are raised up, okay, through the strength and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, they become emboldened, okay? It goes on to say, all they shall speak and say unto thee, as thou become as weak as we, art thou become like unto us? Right, because this place is getting ready to turn into a third world country and even far beyond. Okay, it's going to be desolate, man. But people, the nations are seeing the decline and the weakening of America. And that's why they're all, Shlakia, that's why they're all bucking up. And this is why all these things are happening now. Okay, because the spirit of prophecy is being brought forth, man. All right, we're in that latter end time where he is weakening, right? And the nations see it. It goes on to say, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and thy noise of thy vows, and the worms spread under thee, and the worms cover thee, right? So anything that's ready to die, right, your body goes back into the dust, and what's that's left? The bacteria that's in your body turns into maggots and worms. Okay, so that's what's left for America. All right, that's what America has coming. It's death to America, Baba Ball, the Babylon. Okay, so this is what this is. All of, like the priest said, you ran the world in wickedness, man. You've been the hammer of the whole earth, man. You don't want to give that, trying to get your birthright back, but and ruling in wickedness with the sword, and now you're going to be cut down. All right, and all the nations are going to have at the end of the day, this is all been the heathen's rulership. Okay, chiefly with Esau, Edom. All right, but every nation has had their play, had their time to rule, had their time for glory. All right, and we're just in that final that countdown where Esau, Edom, Babylon, aka America, is fitting meet its demise, man, along with all the rest of the nations. All right, what you got it, bro?
That's it, Malak. Could we pull up the video, the Valuetainment video, real quick?
Yep.
We'll get into that a little bit.
Let's see.
Because again, man, this is major, man. This is major.
Man.
We have basically in the United States, who knows how many basically, Arab, Islamic, so-called extremists.
Yep.
Right? Basically sleeper cells that are being activated.
Yep.
So, man, but here's the thing, you got it out.
No, Slack, I didn't mean to cut you. I was going to say, see, and this is why, when you just see things through the spirit, you understand and you see how the things are kind of being played out. So you don't put nothing past this devil. We've had an influx of all these people, all these immigrants now coming in here to America. Why do you think that is?
Mm-hmm.
You see, there's a reason behind all this here. There was, an influx of all these people coming in. Well, chiefly, through the spirit, all these people are going to receive their judgment here in Babylon and help be fuel to the fire. But there is still a scheme behind this and what Esau is doing with what we believe through the spirit to be this a huge false flag event. I mean, like you did say, it is a Dragons of Arabia, so there can be some truth to it. But either way it goes, they're going to use that opportunity to escalate.
Yep. I got some real quick. This is Sirach chapter 39 and verse 21. It says, a man need not to say, what is this? Wherefore is that? For he have made all things for their uses. Right? And that doesn't just include, all right, physical things, all right, that the Lord has created. That includes scenarios, right? That includes, particular scenes in the movie.
Yep.
This is a domino. This is another domino in a series of dominoes that ultimately lead to what? The salvation, the actual coming of our Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So like we're going into, this immigration situation is not happening for no reason.
Right. It
is eventually going to be utilized and weaponized to fulfill Esau's agenda. That's the point.
Yep.
You got him a lot.
He's on mute, brother.
Do you guys know how many special interest illegal aliens have been
the
caught?
Is this
at
the article?
border? Yeah, this is it. So, and for everybody that doesn't know, special interest alien is anyone from countries that pose a national security threat that might support or shelter terrorism. Customs and Border Patrol have estimated that 1.5 million illegals entered the U.S. without being detected. And no wonder why, Charlie, because I feel like this is all a plan. Here are the numbers. Agents recorded special interest aliens. Syria coming into the country from October 2021 to October 2023, Pat, in 2 years.
Baba Kashai.
Syria, 538. Yemen, 139. Iran, 600.
I was just going to say, Esau is full of shit, man. When you go back to that, if you listen to what it said 1.5 million are undetected, they're estimating. So if they're undetected, how the hell are you putting a number on it? You know what I mean? Esau full of shit, man. The point is, there is a shit ton. There is
Yep.
millions upon millions of basically rogue, all right, immigrants. You
Yep.
know, and like we touched in the lesson. Sha'ar did the class on Saturday. A lot of those immigrants are just immigrants as far as like being families and children, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A lot of them are Northern Kingdom coming up to have their judgment sealed.
That's right.
Right. But on the flip hand side of that, a lot of them are agents, man. A lot of them are being brought over here to fulfill a particular role. There's no way around that. Prophecy is being fulfilled. You got him a lot, unless y'all had a point.
You got it.
Yeah, I want to break some out real quick. You can break it down too, bro. This Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 11, it says, "And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages.
Mm.
I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates."
Right, and that's talking about America, man. Plain as day. Right, the scriptures talk about write the vision, make it plain upon tables. What other nation on the planet Earth has had a border crisis? Right, had a president run on the mantra of building a damn wall, i.e., Donald Trump. Right, that was one of the major components of him running. Building a wall. All right. So again, this scripture is talking about who? It's talking about America. But even on a deeper level, it's going into the lack of defense militarily that America has for these ICBMs,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we know, according to prophecy, not one of these missiles is going to miss their mark,
That's right.
right? They're all going to hit their intended targets, and that's going to be through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So this is the land of unwalled villages. And I'm tempted to click on that word unwalled. Baba Gashaw, let's grab that real quick, actually.
Do that really quick.
It's that word unwalled. Para wa zayam. Para wa zayam. It says open region, hamlet, unwalled village, open country.
And man, the scriptures are beautiful because that makes me think about Babylon the Great is likened unto a great whore.
Mm-hmm.
And basically through the spirit, this place is wide open. This place is easy access, if you will.
Yeah, it's just a gigantic island sitting in the middle of the sea, man.
Yep.
The Lord is cold how he set this thing up, man. And all our ancient Israel, ancient Babylon, they had, 400 feet thick walls, barriers around their kingdoms. Okay,
Yep.
the Medes and so forth and so on. And here's America out here in the middle of nowhere, man. Just in the middle of a giant island. So, yeah. Salaki, you got it.
Yep.
I just wanted to mention that. That's crazy.
No, you're right, bro. And on top of that, America has made its one of its calling cards, if you will, one of its main claims to fame is being a melting pot, right?
Yep.
Being a place where all the nations of the planet Earth can come and hold hands and live the American dream.
Yep.
Well, guess what? All that's going to come back to bite you in the ass, right? And that actually also links up America with the Greco-Roman Empire, because that was another problem that the Romans were having as well. There was constantly revolutions and uprisings of the people because it was an amalgamation of various people groups and cultures and religions. Yahweh Shem Yahushua didn't create people to really dwell like this. This
Right.
is not how he intended creation to be.
No.
We could jump back to the video.
Okay.
659. Iraq, 130.21 to October 2023, Pat, in 2 years. Syria, 538. Yemen, 139. Iran, 659. Iraq, 123. Afghanistan, 6,386. Lebanon, 164. Egypt, 3,153. Pakistan, 1,613. Turkey, 30,830. And Uzbekistan, 13,624. And let's not forget, Pat, almost, and Charlie, you know this, 200. The FBI have caught on the terror watch list 200 that we caught, let alone the ones that we have no idea about. So then that goes to ask people the question, Pat, why is the border, why did they let the border wide open this entire time? That's exactly why the freaking reason is, and it's gonna get worse.
What do you mean by that's why the reason is?
But Pat, here's my thing. For the past couple of years, Charlie, all of us have been watching Pat Mayorkas in front of Congress, and they're like, from everybody yelling at them, like, why is the border wide open? No answer. He beats around the bush. He can't give a specific answer. It's almost as if, Pat, all these people aren't here right now to do something crazy to us in this country because, as you know, the Hamas leader.
But why though?
I think because one of them is to cause chaos, Pat. Because guess what? Election is coming up too. They can't do pandemic again. How are you going to keep everybody at home? Remember House of Cards, season 5, episode 7. They did a fake terrorist thing at a polling thing. Nobody's going to go. If something happens at a polling center, they're going to shut down. Guess what? Who's going to go vote, Pat? You're going to vote from your house. Why?
That's it. That's it. You know, and, you know, he's asking why. You know, really, the prophets, the men of the Lord are the only ones that truly have an answer to that question, right? Because these guys can sit and they can break all this down and give you their 2 cents, but they can't tell you, they can't tell you the bigger picture. They can't tell you what's really getting ready to happen. All right, as far as who's getting ready to rule on the planet Earth.
Yep.
You know, who's sitting who's gonna be sitting on the throne. All right. Yahweh Shai is gonna be sitting on the throne. You know, but Baba Gasha, Malak, I was seeing if you could go back to the clip when you started it earlier, before the live, you started it was the other guy talking.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Oh, okay, Khan, you got it.
Let me grab this for you real quick. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14 in the GNT. It says, the world and the people in it are doomed. The war that will bring their destruction is very near. Nation. If you want to speak on it, you got it.
Nah, you got it. That's it.
Yep. The war that will bring their destruction is very near. Nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations. This is the point. There will be great political turmoil, with one group trying to overpower another and gain control while ignoring the legitimate government. There will no longer be free access to the cities because of the struggle of power will bring destruction, terror, and total confusion wherever people live.
Right.
And that's the point. You see that happening before your eyes. And like Iraq, you just said, bro, beautifully. These niggas right here, right? And it's funny how it framed this goofy ass look on his face, but they're not gonna be able to offer you solutions, man. Right? The men of the Lord have been giving you the problem, the reaction, and the solution on the righteous side, man. Right? Of what's happening, why it's happening, and how it's going to end. Right? Through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai.
That's it, bro.
I got a precept. If I can
You got it.
I can just land back off of you. And you mentioned it earlier, brother. This is Jeremiah 51. The point is in 14, but I'm going to start up at 12 here. It says, set up a standard upon the walls of Babylon and make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen, prepare the ambush, for the Lord has both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. Right. It's been prophesied. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness. So this is America right here in the scriptures. Okay, and here's the point here, as these men here were just talking about here, and as the priest just brought out. The Lord of hosts has sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up and shout against thee. And when you go into that word shout, I think that's a Greek word. It means wine press treaders. Okay, and we know that's what Yahweh Shah is coming to do. He's coming to tread that one. He's coming to bleed the wine fats, right? All right, spill blood, basically. All right, when you go, actually, you can scroll down a little bit more.
Whoa, Slaki, man.
Right there.
Man.
Yeah, right there. Vintage gatherers of wine press treaders. You see that? So that's what Shout's going into. So they're finna come bring blood, man.
That's it, man. Can I make a quick point, Baba Kashab, man? We gotta get touch on this.
Yeah.
If you go back, Baba Kashab Malak, pull up that word ambushes in Jeremiah 51:12. That word ambushes. This is spirit.
God.
Look at the root word. Arab.
Yeah. Literally the transliteration, Arab.
Arab. Yep. Matter of fact.
I wonder how you say it. I wonder how you say it.
Yep.
Strong's H693.
I just hit it.
Arav.
Oh, he tried to put some finesse on it. It's okay.
Arab. But you know, they wrote ours. Arab.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Lie in wait. Ambush, lurk.
That's it, man. The scriptures, man, when we say the scriptures are a living document, man, we're not that's not exaggeration. That's not sound cute, sound tough. I mean, the scriptures speak for themselves, man. It says to lie in wait, to ambush, to lurk.
Wow.
You got a point, Malak?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, in the ancient, pretty much like what they call the Middle Eastern culture, they used to do just like their ambush was pretty much they had a common way that they would ambush, which they would pretty much steal things from each other, like, but it'd be all good, not like all good, but they could do it, how can I say, like, more righteously, I guess, where pretty much until they shed blood it wasn't a problem. So you could go and you siege the city, right? You take whatever you want to take, you had them, right? By whether you, I guess in today's term, it'd be like in doing business and, kind of just fucking them on the other side. Like, just, hey, you don't get your product or whatever. You just fuck them out the deal. But in this way, what I'm saying, with the Hamas situation, now there's bloodshed. And in the ancient world, how they handled that, no matter how many generations it took, they remembered that, they remember how they were dealt with. And and just like even in our culture, when Samuel was summoned to kill them Amalekites, for how they dealt with us when we was trying to get to the, it took generations upon generations before they, we got our lick back, but Samuel didn't have it to put it, or I mean, not Samuel, Saul, Salakia, didn't have it to put them in here, put them down. But yeah, pretty much, them tribes, man, they get down. They don't forget that stuff. They don't, them generations that was brought up in during 9/11, they was waiting to get that lick back on them. Young men, that couldn't go to war during that time. Hey, their fathers died telling them, like, hey, remember that. Remember who did this. You know what I'm saying? So them boys, they're ready. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of, even when you look at what happened with was in 2020 when the U.S. When they killed Al Samani, one of the commanders of Iranian commanders, and they had put in the paper, they're like, look, basically, like, we're gonna remember this and we're gonna pay y'all back. All right, roughly paraphrasing lesson that I actually brought up in one of the lessons recently, where they were talking about how they want to basically they're never going to forget their commander Al-Manani, I think his name was, I was a huge commander in Iran, but how America did him, how they assassinated him. So they're like, yeah, just trust and believe. Payback is coming. We're not gonna forget that. So believe this stuff is on their mind as these things are happening right now over here in the Middle East, man. All right, they want blood. They're not forgetting none of that. All right, and they want payback, man, and they're gonna get it to a certain extent.
Yeah, because really living like voluptuousness or voluptuously, like, and just living short-sightedly, that's like an American thing.
Yeah.
These other nations, they don't do that, man. And when you consider like war, man, that's a long-term, like countries, man. When they declare war, it's not no like, oh, you just woke up a Sunday and they are winning over there. Now let me try to run up in their city. No, they plan out these things hundreds of years, man.
Yeah,
in advance.
Yeah,
at least at least a century. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like they plan that shit out, man, strategically. How they you literally have like when you think of a war room, like that's a whole, like, hey man, brightest brains in a brain trust coming up with plots and plans. Like this is no like little thing. You know what I mean?
Yep. So
Bob Gashat, you got.
No. I was just gonna say, best believe what's happening over here right now this has been planned. Right, this has been in the making for some years now. Right, like the priest in the opening of this lesson, a lot of money was spent. A lot of things were produced and made. There's a lot of things that were drawn up, a lot of plans. Right, a lot of cunning devising to get to basically bring this thing forward. Right, what you got, a priest?
I was just gonna say, just laying back on your point. Let's pull up that. If you go on Google, Malak, and type in Albert Pike World War III quote, Bob Gashat, I want to read the first paragraph of that quote because it's touching on what y'all are saying. Right, the scriptures go into how the heart of the wicked is very deep. Right, Esau is the scriptures liken them to wiser than Daniel. And what is that? Ezekiel 28 or 35. Right. So these things that we see taking place on the planet Earth are after years of planning. All right. And, organization, and you can just read the first paragraph. We don't have to read the whole thing.
This is a quote by Albert Pike. It's a high level 33rd degree Mason.
Yeah.
He wrote that book, what, Dogs and Stigmas or something like that.
Yeah, I forgot the name of that book. Yeah. Something to that nature.
But it says the Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agenter, right, of the Illuminati, right, between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other.
Boom. That's it right there. That's it right there, man. That's what we see taking place.
Yep.
Right. We see the fulfillment of prophecy first and foremost, right, and the fulfillment of the agenda, all right, of the powers to be, all right. Basically, the Arab world, all right, and again, the Zionists or the state of Israel, right. They're about to go head to head, if you will. Yep. But this is just another, I'll use the word algorithm, right? This is just another part of the algorithm, and it's going to be used to bring forth laws, statutes, and decrees, all right, and ultimately the so-called NWO, the mandatory implementation of the CHIP.
Thank you.
The MOTB. That's where this is going.
Yep. All roads lead to the MOTB, man. Make no mistake about it.
Yep. So, you had a point.
I said that definitely, we keep that in the front of our mind. That has to happen before this whole thing goes full blown war. It's something to keep into your mind. So whatever happens is to forward that being pushed, like we was talking about before we went live. This is going to lead to more of a push of that, that fourth industrial revolution that being implemented, whether it be more sanctions coming on from the coming from treaties that or due to a response from more sanctions, higher tax on oil, or the petrodollar going up, and then there's a limit that the masses get to use on that, and then that carbon footprint becomes more is more crucial. Who's using what? It's more of a count on that. So it's just more of a push on and a crunch on rights, like you said, and then plus you got to consider what we bringing it back to that immigration problem.
Yep.
They're gonna have to put in, you have to find and take account for people that's coming in and the supplies that they're getting and how much they have in inventory.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But we actually we can finish up with any precepts that y'all have. I think the point was made. That's pretty much everything I wanted to touch on in this.
Yeah.
Can I play the rest of that video for you? Oh shoot.
Yeah, we can finish off with that.
Let me pull this back up. This is a few minutes.
Hey, Shalom, by the way, Benai Vaughn.
Hey, Shalom, Yabashim Mishrakta.
Glad you joined us, brother.
Yeah, Yabashim Mishrakta. You on mute if you trying to say something, bro. Okay.
Humanitarian thing? You think they care about Venezuelans and Mexicans and people? And shut down. Guess what? Who's gonna go vote, Pat? You're gonna. If something happens at a polling center, they're gonna shut down. Guess what? Who's gonna go vote, Pat? You're gonna vote from your house. Why? Why else? Is it a humanitarian thing? You think they care about Venezuelans and Mexicans and people? And by the way, these people that are coming in, Charlie, all these guys that's 18 to 35.
That's right.
They're military fighting age men, Pat. And the UN is giving them cards, Charlie, with money on it and a cell phone saying, hey, go get an apartment. And when we call you,
That's right.
we'll like.
Vin, this is actually pretty shocking to me because I don't want to just gloss over this. Oh, Vinny,
Yeah.
like these are people from the Middle East that they've caught at the U.S. border crossing.
But that's just 1 year.
Okay,
1 year.
that's just in 1 year.
And that's who we've caught, not who's gotten away.
And this is who's been caught, meaning they didn't catch everybody.
Yeah.
So why would someone from Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, all these countries, why would they be coming through the southern border?
Let me stay on this series of questions I'm asking.
Yeah.
Here's where I'm going with this. Okay, so let's say they're doing it intentionally. Let's process that.
Okay.
One, who is they? Two, why are they doing it intentionally?
Yeah, I think that, it's obviously they're doing it intentionally. And let's just say the Democrat Party and moderate Republicans, they have different reasons for it. And the Democrat Party thinks that they get more power politically if they allow the third world to come into the country. They're not totally right about that, actually. It turns out that, third world people that enter America, they have values that are against white upper middle class woke liberalism. But don't take my word for it. Look at the Castro brothers. The Castro brothers, who, one was a mayor of San Antonio, the other one served in the Obama administration, Housing and Urban Development. One of them ran the Democrat National Committee. There's a clip that you could find on CBS Face the Nation. They have memory hold this clip. So if you find it, kudos on you, where they said, they were in this interview and they said, hey, in just a couple of years, you're going to be calling the electoral votes for Texas because for Democrats, because of how many Hispanics are coming into Texas. These are two card-carrying partisan Democrats that are telling you that Texas will become blue, will become Democrat because they're allowing people from the third world.
I'm gonna fast forward it just a bit and get to the point.
They don't have the infrastructure to support it. The more immediate concern and caution I have is sleeper cells in the United States that are from terrorist countries that could be activated to do harm against the homeland. And that's not fear-mongering. The head of Hamas said this tomorrow. He's called for a look at his own words.
Yeah, Khalid Mashal.
I want to make sure I'm accurate.
No, you're
here.
right. Khalid Mashal called for international.
Is it translated in English? Can you?
No, but I want to make sure I'm accurate because I get attacked by the media for fear mongering.
No, you're not. You're actually right. I have it right here.
Please read it.
Khalid Mashal, he was the
Global Day of Jihad tomorrow.
Yeah, he said show anger, especially on Friday in Muslim countries, also among Muslim diaspora around the world. And he called it the
Diaspora.
Friday of Al-Aqsa flood. He said this will send a message of rage to Zionists to America. He asked for financial help from all Muslims around the world to help their money, and he called it a financial jihad. He asked Muslims to give the fighters of Gaza in order to compensate them for destruction. The more important thing, Pat, this is final words. Funds are important, but today we are asking for your blood and souls to be sacrificed for Palestine. So I'm giving everybody a heads up, and that's why they've always.
That's
why-
tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. It's Friday the 13th. And Charlie, with everything that's going on, with the failure of security, with a message like
Yes.
that from this demon, thank God for our founding fathers
Second
for giving us
Amendment.
the Second Amendment.
Bygones.
Thank you, God, because guess what? I dare, when shit pops off here, Pat, God, I feel bad for everybody that happened over there. Nobody had guns for 3 to 6 hours. Apparently, the best military, one of the best ones in the world, just disappeared. Over here, I'm proud of America because we got guns.
That is Esau putting on the clinic right now. That is a red-faced
Man.
and you can see this is the effect
Yep.
of the spirit of prophecy.
Yep.
This is the spirit of prophecy, the spirit of Yahweh Shai is beginning to rest and settle on the conscience of these people, and they're gonna lose it. You can see it all over his mannerisms, the way he's talking about this.
Yeah,
He's freaking the fuck out.
yeah. He's
Freaking out, man.
yeah, he's on the cusp, and but then and a lot of it's just guesstimation. They don't have the answers.
Yep.
They don't have you don't have the answers, Sway. They don't have the answers.
Yep.
Okay, this is this is beautiful, man.
That's part of what's making them so nervous too.
Right,
The scriptures talk about wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times.
Yep.
They don't have that.
Nope.
So as these things continue to take place, they're gonna lose their minds, and they're gonna revert back to what they know best, which is the sword.
That's right. That's
You know.
right.
You had a point, Malak?
I was gonna make that point Elder Malcolm always make. I love when them Edomites be next to some white, because you can clearly see this nigga is red. This ain't no white man.
Not at all.
You see,
That's red.
that's what a red man looks like. That violent man that the scriptures talk about.
Yep.
That bloody man the scriptures talk about. You can't deny it. But yeah, that you could see it in they mannerisms, man. That nigga don't know the why. That nigga don't know the how.
Oh.
He just know like they feel this country slipping away from them. Their power that say so.
Yep. Yep.
Right. They're feeling that slip away from them. This middle class, even the upper middle class, because these dudes on that this channel got some views, but whether they be multi-millionaires, they're still taking a hit due to the economy and how harsh it's getting. They're taking a hit, and they see that shit. So they see that power every day. They wake up, they're losing more and more of what they fought to keep or gain. And so they feel that slipping right before their eyes, and that slow burn is starting to put some pressure on them.
Yep, like you said, he's going to go back to his nature, right, which is resorting to that sword, man. He says it's the spirit. Look at this dude, man. He's bugged out, man.
Vein popping out his head, vein all the way.
He truly believes, that. Yeah, man. You can just let this folly play, man.
I'll finish up with this scripture. This is Revelation 12:12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." Right? So we're entering into a time of great wrath. All right. The powers that be are getting ready to, put the foot down, put the clamp down. All right, because they're under a lot of pressure. right? Society is collapsing. These people are bugging the hell out. All right, and all this is part of their plan. Okay, but they also know that all this is part of the plan of Yahweh Shem Yahushua.
That's right.
Right? This is all prophecy, which means that they know that our Lord is right around the corner. You
Yep.
know.
Yep. And that is going to play a major role in the persecution coming. Like mentioned earlier, you know, with the men of the Lord.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. Persecution, the straight gate.
Yep.
That's what we're about to enter into. You
Yep.
know.
That's right, brothers.
But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up on that. Been going a minute. With that, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakodash. Thawada to all the Akim for tuning in. And shalom to the next lesson. Shalom.